Good morning, children. Today we are going to see the chapter number 13, that is motion and time. Last chapter we have seen about the weather and the adaptations, and today we are going to see what is motion. Okay, so you can see the three pictures over there. Each picture everything is in the motion. That is, motion is the change in position of an object with time. Means what? If just I'll give you an example over here. You can see a can, correct? If I have kept this can here, okay, I'm keeping this can over here. Is it in motion? No. Now, yes, correct. Means what? What I have done? I have changed its position from here to here, from here to here, correct. I'm changing its position with respect to the time. That is, in 1 second or in 2 seconds, I'm moving it to and fro, back and front and back. Okay, so this is known as motion. If I'm just keeping it here, I'm not moving a single substance over it, so that is not a motion. Okay, so the motion is a change in position of an object with time. And now there are the different types of motion. That is, motion along a straight line, that is rectilinear motion. Okay, linear means straight, rectilinear motion. Example, motion of a car on a straight road, correct. You can see the first picture, motion along a straight line. Next is periodic motion. Periodic motion is example of pendulum. You have seen clocks, correct, the ancient time clocks. You see the pendulum over there, correct. So that the motion of that pendulum, okay, the pendulum goes from here to here, correct. They just move to and fro, to and fro, to and fro, correct. That is known as periodic motion. That is example of pendulum. And third is the circular motion, the movement of the wheels, correct, the vehicle wheels, then movement of the rolling ball, then the movement of the hands of a clock. These are all circular motion. Then the motion of earth around the sun is also a circular motion. Okay, then what is speed? Okay, the distance covered by an object in a unit time is called the speed of the object. Okay, the distance covered by an object in a unit time is called the speed of the object. Okay, I'll give you the example. See example, if a car covers a distance of 100 kilometers in 1 hour and a bus covers a distance of 50 kilometers in 1 hour, then speed of the car is more than the speed of the bus. Okay, here what they have done, they have kept the time constant. Okay, both are compared in 1 hour only, so it is easy to tell that who is moving faster or who is covering more distance. Okay, I'll give you another example, that is children from Kolad. Okay, they have told that you have to run from the Kolad bus stop till your school. Okay, so what they will do, they will set the timer. Okay, there's no such first coming or second coming or third coming. We have to just calculate the speed of the children, correct. So what we have to do, we have to put the timer on and we have to measure the distance, how much they have covered. Okay, so we have set the timer at we can say like 15 minutes. Okay, so in 15 minutes, who covers the distance more, that is who comes first has covered the distance first. who comes second is the distance covered the least. Correct. So this to calculate this speed, how you can calculate? The total distance covered upon time taken. Okay, so we can say if they have covered the 2 kilometer distance, so 2 kilometers upon the time taken was 15 minutes. Okay, so 2 kilometers upon 15 minutes, that is your speed. Okay, and in this case, which example we have taken above of the car, for that, how you can calculate the speed? 100 kilometers upon 1 hour. Okay, that is 100 kilometer per hour is the speed of the car, and 50 kilometers per hour is the speed of the bus. You have to remember the formula of speed, that is distance covered upon time taken. Next is a type of another two types of motion. Okay, uniform motion and non-uniform motion. If the speed of the object is constant, it is known as uniform motion. And if the speed of the object keeps on changing, it is known as non-uniform motion. We can give the example of the ticking of the clock. Okay, the clock ticks in a particular speed at constant speed, so that is known as uniform motion. Okay, and when you drive a car in a traffic jam, that is known as non-uniform motion, because you keep on applying brakes. Okay, you cannot keep the speed constant, so that is non-uniform motion. Okay, so next is measurement of time. The time is measured by using clocks or watches. Clocks and watches make use of periodic motion. Correct? The periodic motion is done in that measurement. You can see the examples of wall clocks. In the wall clock, you can see down the pendulum also, which gives you a periodic motion, that is to and fro, to and fro. Correct? Next is a table clock. Next is a wristwatch. Correct? Next is a digital clocks. Okay, these are the examples of measurement of time. Next we have a simple pendulum. Okay, you have seen this figure before also. A simple pendulum has a small metallic bob. Bob means a metal ball suspended from a stand by a thread. Okay, there is a stand over there, a gray color, you can see rectangle, that is a stand. Then there is the line, black line is known as the thread, and down there is a metal ball known as bob. Okay, it is suspended, there is no stand in between. Okay, then if a bob is taken to one side and released, it moves to and fro. Okay, when what I have said, that if you have the periodic motion, that is simple pendulum, when the clock ticks 1, what happens? The pendulum moves 1, 2, correct? As the clock ticks, the motion is seen there, 1, 2. So this is known as to and fro motion, to and fro motion. So the to and fro motion of a simple pendulum is called periodic motion or oscillatory motion. Okay, O for oscillatory, remember that the ball is known as a bob. Okay, so O you can remember for oscillatory motion. Okay, in the second figure you can see the O written over the below the bob. Okay, this is the initial position, and A and B are its to and fro positions. Okay, next, then what is oscillation in terms of definition? Okay, when the bob moves from mean position O, mean position means what I have told you, that initial position from where it is at the rest, O to A and to B and back to O, it is called one oscillation. Means what? If you consider the bob over there, what they have done? Firstly, it is just suspended. Okay, then what did they have they caught the bob and then took it to the position A. Okay, and then they left it. What happened? The bob traveled from A position to O position to B position, and then again from B position to O position. Correct? So this is known as one oscillation. That is, again, see here, the bob was at O position. What did we do? We pulled the bob to A position. Correct? We pulled it to A position and just left it. When I left it, the bob will go here and then come again at the O position. Okay, that is A from B to again O. So this is known as one oscillation. Okay, that is movement of bob from A position, that is O position to A position, and A position to B position, and B position to O position. Okay, so this is known as one oscillation. I'll repeat the oscillation definition again. When the bob moves from the mean position O to A and to B and back to O, it is called one oscillation. When the bob moves from one extreme position A to the other extreme position B and back to A, it is called one oscillation. Same, okay? Next, there is given a time period, means how much time it takes to complete the one oscillation is known as time period. That is, the time taken by the pendulum to complete one oscillation is called its time period. Okay, you can see here the activity to measure the time period of a simple pendulum. Okay, I'll give you a brief introduction now, and we are going to conduct this experiment on our online classes. Okay, I'll show you this experiment and we will calculate the timing also. Okay, set up a simple pendulum with a thread of length about 1 meter. Move the bob to one side and release the bob. Measure the time taken to complete 20 oscillations using a stopwatch or stop clock. Record the observations in the table. Repeat the activity 3 times and record the observations. Find the time taken for one oscillation. The time period is nearly the same in all cases. They have given the observation over here also that the time period will be the same in all cases. Okay, they have told that you have to count the 20 oscillations and then you have to stop the watch and see how much time they have taken to complete the oscillations. Okay, we'll see this experiment in the online class. Okay, now we have seen the time, what is time, then speed, then what is the unit of time and speed. Okay, the basic unit of time is seconds. The larger unit of times are minutes and hours. Okay, the basic unit of speed is meter per second. Why meter per second? Why there is upon? Because in the formula, the all just keep in mind that these units doesn't come from the sky. Okay, these units are derived from their formulas. Okay, remember this speed formula. What was the formula of speed? Meter. Why the meter is there above? Because distance upon time. Correct. So distance, how distance is calculated, or what is the unit of distance? Meter. And what is the unit of time? Second. So that's why that is m upon s. Therefore meter per second. And if you count it in the larger units, it will be kilometer per hour. Okay. And in the ancient times, there were the measuring devices. So some ancient time measuring devices were sundials, water clocks and sand clocks. You can find it on the Google or YouTube that how there was a working of this sundials and water clocks. Okay, just for fun, you can search on the Google that you can know that today how easily we can see the time, and the in the ancient times they have to struggle to see the time also. Okay. Okay, so next we can see the measuring speed over there. We have seen this example before also, but now here we have to calculate the speed. See the example. The speed of an object can be measured if we know the distance covered by the object and the time taken as per the formula. Okay, you have to know the distance and the time. So example, if a car covers a distance of 100 kilometers in 2 hours, then the speed of the car is, what is given for the any numericals. If you go around any numericals, first step is you have to write the given part. So in the question, what is given? The distance is given, correct? So distance covered is 100 kilometer. Next, time taken is given 2 hours. Okay, see the units first. We have to check the units. The distance is of kilometer and the time is of hour, so no need to convert the time. Okay, so both are the higher measurements. See the formula. Speed is equal to distance upon time, that is 100 upon 2 is equal to 2 divided by 100 divided by 2, 50. So 50 kilometer per hour. Okay, so now we can just twist this formula also. Okay, now what we have speed and we have time. We have to calculate the distance. Okay, if we know the speed of the car and the time, we can find the distance covered by it. So what happens? We have to remember the speed formula. Next we have to do is we want the distance. So what we will do? We will keep the distance at the same place and take the time over left hand side. Okay, so when here it is division, when we take the time over the left side, it will become multiplication. So the formula becomes distance is equal to speed into time. That is, what was the speed we calculated? 50. And what was the time? 2. And therefore answer comes 100 kilometer. Okay, which is correct in the first question. Okay, now if we know the distance covered by the car and the speed, we can find the time taken. Same. Okay, now we want time. So what we will do? We will just take the time and shift over to the left, and we will take the speed from the left hand side and put it on the right hand side. Okay, here the time was in the division place and now it becomes multiplication, and here the speed was in multiplication phase, here it becomes division. Therefore the time formula becomes time is equal to distance upon speed. Distance is 100, speed is 50, the time is 2 hours. Okay, all the numericals, all the answers we have which we get are all correct. Okay, as per the question above given. So here we have calculated the speed, and now at the every time we don't have to keep on just calculating by the formulas. Today we have the speedometer and odometer in our vehicles, correct? The speedometer is a device which measures the speed of vehicles in kilometer per hour, and odometer is a device which measures the distance covered by a vehicle. Okay, you see that two numberings over there, correct, in the car. So the one is a speedometer which calculates the speed, and second which rolls down, correct, the numbers are rolling over it. You can see there of 0, 5, 4, 9, 0, 2. So that is the speed. So that is the distance covered by the vehicle, that is known as odometer. Okay, please remember the difference between speedometer and odometer. Speedometer measures the speed of a vehicle and odometer measures the distance covered by a vehicle. Okay, so next we are going to see the distance time graph in our next video. Okay, thank you children.